Hello, I'm Dr. John McClain. Welcome to my YouTube channel as I continue this series on short answers to tough and difficult questions. And in this one, I want to just talk about why did you, God, make Hosea marry an adulterous wife? Now, remember that the prophet Hosea is providing God's revelation during the time of Israel's sinfulness, rebellion, blasphemy, idolatry. And it says, when the Lord first spoke through Hosea, the Lord said to Hosea, "Go take to yourself a wife of harlotry and have children of harlotry, for the land commits flagrant harlotry, forsaking the Lord." So the whole purpose, apparently by God, in part, is to demonstrate the idolatry, both spiritually and physically, that dominated the land. Two things that God greatly hates. Now, I don't get around this by saying she became a harlot after, or Hosea didn't know she would become a harlot. Maybe she wasn't a harlot to begin with, but Hosea was told that she would be a harlot wife and that he was to take her. And this was against everything that Hosea had no doubt learned in the law, from the priests, from his position as a prophet. And verse 3 says, "So he went and he took Gomer, the daughter of Diblaim, and she conceived and bore him a son." And so I accept that the first child was probably Hosea's. Maybe all three of them were. There is some ambiguity in the text that maybe the second and the third were from part of her harlotry or adultery. Verse 4, the Lord said to him, "Name him Jezreel for a little while, and I will punish the house of Jehu for the bloodshed of Jezreel, and I will put an end to the kingdom of the house of Israel," primarily the 10 northern tribes. He goes on to say, "On that day, I will break the bow of Israel in the valley of Jezreel." It says, "Then she conceived again." Now, it doesn't say that it was someone else. It doesn't say that it was Hosea, but I see no reason to not accept it as Hosea, as the father. "And so she conceived again, gave birth to a daughter. The Lord said to him, 'Name her Lo Ruhamah, for I will no longer have compassion on the house of Israel, that I would ever forgive them.'" Lo in Hebrew is no, Ruhamah is compassion. And God just has said enough is enough. There is a point where God says to a nation, says to a people, "I've forgiven you so much. You continue to abuse that forgiveness, and now there will be no more." Verse 11, "But I will have compassion on the house of Judah, the 2 southern tribes, and deliver them by the Lord their God, and will not deliver them by bow, sword, battle, horsemen, horses, or horsemen." God is going to deliver them supernaturally. Now, if I remember it right, the northern kingdom had 19 kings, none of them good. The southern kingdom of Judah had 20 kings, 3 or 4 of them, good to okay. And that's what preserved them longer. Verse 8, "When she had weaned Lo Ruhamah," didn't take long, "she conceived and gave birth to a son. And the Lord said, 'Name him Lo Ami, for you are not my people, and I am not your God.'" Lo again in Hebrew, no. Ami, my people, you are not my people. But he goes on to verse 10, yet the number of the sons of Israel will be like the sand of the sea. Why? Based on the Abrahamic covenant, the patriarchal covenant, which cannot be measured or numbered. And in the place where it is said to them, you are not my people, it will be said to them, you are the sons of the living God. And of course, we see this fulfillment and referenced in the New Testament for the Gentiles. Verse 11, and the sons of Judah and the sons of Israel will be gathered together, and they will appoint for themselves one leader. Ultimately, we will see that is fulfilled in Jesus Christ. And they will go up from the land of Israel, for great will be the day of Jezreel. And this is quite possibly a reference to the final battle of Jezreel at the second coming of Jesus Christ. So, why did you, God, make Hosea marry an adulterous wife? To illustrate Israel's sin, Israel's idolatry, Israel's abominations. I wish there were another way. I don't know why God did it that way. Honestly, in this series, you're going to hear me say it many times. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't like it. But God will have mercy on whom he will have mercy. He will not have mercy on those whom he chooses not to have mercy. God has demonstrated his love in that while we were yet sinners, helpless, ungodly enemies, he sent his son to die for us. But I sure would have hated to be Hosea. And if I were Hosea, I know I would have had a lot of questions for God about all of the pain and suffering that he and the children went through. Now, it's a wonderful story of God's love as Hosea goes to the slave market, the prostitute market, this beat up, worn out, overused woman, undesirable, and yet bids and bids until he can take her back and make her his wife again. That's God's love.